All right, so the Senate is also set to vote on a straight repeal bill, Dagan McDowell, as they're calling a skinny repeal bill. Do you think it's clear either of these will pass? Where are you in terms of this timeline? What's your take?
The skinny bill, at least they're taking a stab at putting something in place in terms of a health care reform. So the skinny bill would repeal both the individual and the employer mandates and the medical devices tax. That's pretty much it. But at least it would give the Senate something to send to conference with the House of Representatives. It's unclear, given that 43 to 57 vote on the repeal and replace, that really shows you with only 43 yays from Republicans that they are not on board with what is happening in the Senate.
And it included the Ted Cruz amendment there, which so many people in the House liked. Which is really unfortunate. So there's a lot of tension there.
But it was a central planning project. I mean, basically there was no room for new innovation, competition, genuine market forces. It left mandates in, especially taxes. Taxes on the middle class. They left in taxes on investment. Think about it. If you're a couple making more than $250,000, they're going to tax you 3.8% on investment income. If they want to have taxes, they should do it on consumption, not investment. So it was a garbage plan to begin with that no one could really get behind. And it's not part of the president's agenda. The president's agenda isn't for entitlement expansion. It's for entitlement reform and to lower taxes. So whatever Republicans got behind the closed doors and put this bill together, they knew other Republicans weren't going to get behind it.
But all of this has such implications because you say that, you know, it's too bad about the Ted Cruz amendment. So what does that happen to Ted? What does that mean for Ted Cruz's yes? Right. So he was a yes because he got his amendment in. So does that completely change if, in fact, they're going to vote down the bill with that amendment in it?
It very well could. I mean, this thing is so complicated. And by the way, Maria, there's so much talk about what the Republicans are doing wrong. And I agree. It's bad that they can't come together on this. But not one vote from a Democrat. I know. Not one. I mean, this Obamacare disaster is on their lap, and they will do nothing to help fix it.
Well, they want it. They want Obamacare to stay in place, and they want Republicans to have egg on their face. And if they force Republicans' hand, they're going to have to keep a lot of what Obamacare has in place.
But they know politically that the Republicans now own this because of their own failure at their ability to coalesce around something to fix Obamacare. The Democrats know, regardless of the messaging from the Republicans, regardless of the messaging from the president, they know the Republicans are going to own this.
My husband,
that when people go to the polls next year.
My husband, who's a member of Congress, says that behind closed doors, Democrats are begging for Republicans to take over health care because they know, the Democrats know this thing is about to fail. And frankly, I think it's designed to fail. I think they want single payer.
It's had a negative impact on the economy. The CBO has even said it's lowered wages and it's reduced our workforce participation. And I mean, it's completely damaging. So actually, if the president does want this economy to get started, it can't take shades of Obama.
I heard one of the Democratic senators from, I believe, the state of Hawaii talking about, well, the Democrats' fix will be a single payer option.
Yes, that's exactly. It was designed to go in that direction.
And I think everybody needs to step back and ask themselves, am I okay with giving the government more control over my health care? Because the more control that you give these lawmakers or bureaucrats, they will ultimately be making decisions about what kind of health care you get and what you don't get.
Now, can we actually move on to tax reform without having some finality in health care? I mean, I recognize that's what the White House is saying, but is that a talking point at this point? The next big agenda item for the president, he says, is overhauling the tax code. Here's what he had to say to a crowd in Youngstown, Ohio last night about his plans for that.
My administration is working every single day to heed and honor the will of the voters. That includes working on one of the biggest tax cuts in American history. And actually, if I get what I want, it will be the single biggest tax cut in American history.
Meanwhile, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, the president emphasized his tax plan would cut the corporate rate to 15% and also give middle-class Americans a big tax break. The president saying in part, quote, the people I care most about are the middle-income people in the country who have gotten screwed. And if there's upward revision, it's going to be on high-income people. Kevin Kelly, your thoughts about that? We haven't heard that kind of tone from the president. If there's going to be higher taxes or if there's going to be any pressure, it's going to be high income.
Yeah, in that completely makes sense because there's so many loopholes in the tax system that the high-income people have been able to take advantage of that. Look at their net effective tax rates. It's nowhere near what the federal code mandates it. That's why there's...
Wait, are you advocating raising taxes on the...
No, absolutely not.
Well, but that's not the way that sounds.
No. I'm asking for a clear and concise tax code that gets rid of the special interest and the loopholes that people are able to take advantage of. And it's the wealthy people that can take advantage of it because it's pork barrel that they put it through. Now, the middle-income people cannot do that.
That's actually not true, Kevin, because half of Americans pay no federal income tax. They paid no net federal income tax.
He's talking about middle-income people.
I know, but that
actually...
What's middle? What are the numbers?
There are plenty of middle-income Americans who pay no net federal income tax when you have half of the country that doesn't pay anything into the federal coffers. The president's quote in the Journal is, I have wealthy friends that say to me, I don't mind paying more tax. Well, because they're liberal and they're super wealthy.
Yeah, when you ask them to do it, they would never do it. But this highlights how convoluted and complex our tax code is. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's 775 pages over that. I mean, it's conflicting.
But hey, they want to simplify. They want to do it on a postcard.
It's not clear.
I would like it on a postcard. I could get behind that.
It's not clear what's going to be in this middle-class tax break because, again, the White House has said very little about the personal exemption, and they have promised at one point or another to repeal the estate tax and the alternative minimum tax, which would benefit wealthier Americans. But remember, Steve Bannon floated that idea just some weeks ago about I could see the highest bracket or highest tax brackets having a 4 in front of them. So that would take the upper rate higher.
Here's the issue.
He said that it would be.
But the problem
he essentially said it would be 40 or higher for the highest.
It goes back to what
ridiculous.
But it goes back to what you said. Can we even get to this without health care? My understanding from what they've said is that this was all sequential. That in order to do what they need to do to truly reform taxes, they had to first get through ObamaCare.
Yeah, if they want to reform, but they should have started with a tax cut. Listen, he gets into office, he coalesces everybody's. Hey, here's a 2-year tax cut to kickstart this economy.
That's why I got elected. Let me do it right.
I'm voting for you.
Yeah, and you know why you need this 15% business tax cut?
I don't think you're going to get it.
No, but you need it because that plays into health care, right? Rising health care costs are a burden on the employers. The second largest cost for employers is health care, right?
You might get a 15% on pass-throughs, but you're not going to get a 15% corporate rate overall.
Right.
Maybe the pass-throughs.
They're hoping for low 20s.
Opening bid.
By the way.